One of the best designed fights in MCOC, in my opinion, Emperor Doom comes in as the boss of Act 9.3. In this video, we will discuss the immunities and passives with the Cage of Chrono Serpent, and then we'll jump into the mechanics. That would include Emperor Doom's Will, the Baptism of Doom, and special attacks and how to evade them, as evading special attacks makes the core mechanic of the fight. We will also look at the Doom's Blessing, the Crossfight, that helps you every time you die, and then we will look at the best champions for the fight, followed with the phase-by-phase breakdown. Now during this fight, the boundless Chrono Serpent and the Emperor Doom are wrestling for control, giving Doom's physiology a 99% reduction in damage from all sources, immunity to stun, and immunity to special lock and all forms of power manipulation except Petrify and Amplify. Doom's ability accuracy cannot be reduced, and all of his other attributes cannot be reduced below 50% of their starting values. Doom will also steal 1% of the attacker's max power every second if they are immune to power steal, and regenerate that power for himself. I would say avoid those champions with power steal immunity. Now when Doom phases, he is going to get a 30% amplify passive. More on it later in the video, just keep that in mind. And while Doom has less than 3 bars of power, your spirit gain rate is increased by 300%. So I would suggest bring your highest rarity relics prepped for this fight. Now Emperor Doom has a very strong will that starts the fight with 99 charges, which will persist if you're knocked out. And you can notice this icon with the charges below Emperor's Doom HP bar in green color. Now there are only 2 ways to remove these charges. If you strike Doom with the final hit of a special attack, he will lose 4 charges. Or if there is a personal amplify passive on Doom and you attempt to hit him during his special attacks. For every hit attempted, you will remove 3 will. Now this is very important. You will need amplify passives on Doom to be able to remove the will charges during special attacks. While he has the passive, your job is to attempt a hit during a special. Every time you attempt a hit, you're going to remove 4 will charges. Now Doom has a disdain for lesser beings that will reinforce his will. Whenever he would lose will, he will lose 2 less for each rarity the attacker is below his own, to a minimum of 1. So if you use a 7-star champion, for every hit you attempt during a special attack, he will remove 3 will. But if you use a 6-star champion, that will be reduced to 1. And the minimum you can remove is 1. So it's best to use your 7-star champions for this fight. Now Doom is going to be a very punishing boss. Certain hits will apply Baptism of Doom on you, and when that happens, you cannot move and you cannot perform any actions. And Doom will slowly glide towards you, and the next attack from his is going to be lethal and you're gonna die. Now these hits are heavy attacks and special 3 attacks during phase 1. If you get clipped by them, you are going to be inflicted with Baptism of Doom and you are just stuck in your place. Once you move to phase 2, special attack 1 is also added to that. So if you get hit by a special attack 1 in phase 2, you are also going to be inflicted with Baptism of Doom, and same for phase 3, special attack 2 is going to be added on that. So you really have to play this fight with full evade. And in the last phase, light and medium attacks are also added. Don't worry, you can still block him and trigger a heavy attack from him, but by the time you get to the last phase, you cannot get hit. So remember, a heavy attack and a special attack is instant death. Don't worry, we will see all of these during the phase-by-phase breakdown and to see them in action and how to avoid them. Now let's look at the most important mechanic of the fight, the special attacks and how to evade them, because they are going to be very important for you to bring down those will charges on Doom. Now the special attack 1 comprises of 3 energy blasts. The first one, the second one, and the final wave that he hurls at you. Now we have to try to attempt a hit after every blast. So you dash back, you wait for the first blast, you go in for a hit, and then before he activates his second blast, you dash back. After the second blast, you go back in for the second hit, and then you dash back again and you let him throw a wave. And once he does that, you just evade that. Another thing to remember, that on activation of SP1, Doom triggers an aura of Ouroboros for 8 seconds. Now this aura's duration is reduced by 1 second while Dread Emperor Doom is suffering from a slow, and 1 second while suffering from Petrify. Now to be honest, in the grand scheme of things, the Petrify and slow doesn't really help much. So you can ignore this mechanic, but if you use a champion that has Petrify or slow, it will be a little helpful. Now while this aura is active, Doom's attacks cannot be blocked, evaded or caused to miss. They will always force reactions even unstoppable from the unstoppable attackers. Now while the aura is active, Doom cannot be knocked down except by a special 3. So if you're trying to knock him down in any of the phases, you have to look for the aura. For the special attack 2, it comprises of 4 attacks. The 2 initial energy waves, the 3rd energy blast, and then the final energy attack that goes along the ground. Now similar to SP1, we have to dex the first 2 energy waves, then attempt a hit. Now evade the 3rd blast, attempt another hit, and then evade the last attack. Another very important mechanic here is going to be the countdown of Doom. Now every time Doom will trigger an SP2, he will reduce 1 charge from his countdown. You can notice that with the grey icon underneath Emperor Doom's health bar. And after the 5 SP2s, the charges run out, Doom gets a power surge to an SP3, which means instant death. So you have to be very careful how many special attack 2 you allow Doom. Remember that these countdowns are going to reset at the end of every phase. So just right here, I have only 1 remaining and I'm dreading that SP2. As soon as he throws that, look at that 3 bars of power and I'm just doomed on this fight. All I'm trying to do is to just get him down, his will charges to 0, but I'm not able to do that. And eventually at the end, he just throws a special attack and I die. So this is going to be a very important mechanic in phase 3 of the fight. More on it later when I go into the phase by phase break. Now every time you die and you revive the same champion and come back, you will notice a Doom's Blessing icon. Now that will give you the ability to remove 1 additional will whenever you will attempt a basic attack during the special or you knock him down with a special attack. So 7-star rank 4 champions or rank 3 champions typically will remove 3 will. But if you use the same champion, you die back, now it will remove 4. You die again, it will remove 5. So it's a kind of a mechanic that helps you, if you die, it helps you finish the fight or the phase faster. And remember, these blessings are reset at the end of every phase. Now what are the best champions against Emperor Doom? Now as you know that Doom gives you only twice an opportunity to hit during the special attack in both SP1 and SP2. So the window to remove those charges, those amplifier charges is very small and it's super important to maximize that opportunity. So it's important to bring in the best champions. Make sure the champions do not have power steal immunity and they are 7-star rank 3s or rank 4s. And preferably if you have a champion that does like a double hit in the first dash attack, that would be your best champions. So I'm talking about your champions like Werewolf by Night, Domino, Silk, Lady Deathstrike, Black Widow Deadly Origin, and Quicksilver to name a few. But the absolute best option in my opinion is going to be your North Star because he has 3 medium hits. And that will really help you once we go into the phase by phase breakdown. So if you ask me what is the summary of this fight, what is the best way to approach it? So the goal of the fight is to reduce Doom's will charges to start at 99 at every phase, and then you reduce them by either using a special attack or attempting hits during the special attack of Emperor Doom. Once you reduce down the will to 0, Doom takes 33% of his health as damage and is pushed into the next phase. So phase 1, the goal is to bring down the will charges down to 0. Now there are 2 ways to do that. The first one is I can attempt hits during a special attack animation of Emperor Doom. So let's check that out. Dex, dash, and dex. Now remember to have that, to make sure you can use that, you need to have amplifier charges on Dread Emperor Doom. Another way is to use a special attack while the aura of Ouroboros is not active. So let's check that out. I'll just use my special one. At the end of a knockdown, Doom has lost 4 will charges. But remember, on every activation of SP1 from Doom, there is going to be an aura of Ouroboros, and during the aura of Ouroboros, he will steal power from you, and also he cannot be knocked down. So it's very important for you to time your special attacks in a way where the aura is depleted before you get to the last hit so you can knock down easy. So champions with long special attack animations work really well, so Werewolf by Night and Lady Deathstrike are some good examples. Now you can use this phase to learn the SP1 and the SP2 evade and the pattern and how to remove the will charges. Another thing is that don't worry about amplify much on this phase, because every time that Dread Emperor Doom will activate a special attack, he will also gain amplify straight away. Now the SP2 Dex is a bit easier in my opinion because of the 2 blasts. So I'm gonna just wait it out here. Dex, Dex, dash, Dex, dash, Dex. And then I can go back in and attack Dread Emperor Doom. So this is how you're going to go through this phase, and once you bring down those will charges down to 0, you are going to push Dread Emperor Doom into the next phase, and he will regain his 99 will and lose 33% of his health. So and the final thing, you don't have to worry about the Baptism of Doom. It doesn't really get activated in phase 1. That becomes a factor while you get into phase 2. The difference between phase 1 and phase 2 is now you have to push Doom to actively gain those amplified charges. Now to do that, you can use either a striker for a knockdown that will give him 4 amplified charges, or you can also use a special attack. At the end of special attack, because of knockdown, you're also gonna give 4 amplified charges to Emperor Doom. Another third way is to wait for Doom to throw a heavy attack and you punish with your heavy, but only attempt that when Doom does not have a special attack. So, knockdown is very important in this phase because the only way Emperor Doom will gain those amplified charges are with a knockdown, and the only way you can remove will charges is when Doom already has a passive and then you attempt basic attacks during the special attack animation of Doom. So that is the important thing. Another thing, Baptism of Doom comes into play. So if you get hit during a special attack of SP1 animation, you're going to get Baptism of Doom and you're gonna die on the next hit. Avoid heavy attack and SP3s from Doom because those are instant deaths as well. And before you know it, you can bring down Doom to the next phase. Remember, as I told you, that champions that have double attack on their medium dash-in are gonna make the fight super fast. So that's why Werewolf by Night is just eating through all of those will charges and just pushing him to the next phase. Now phase 3 is going to be the toughest one because here Doom will only gain Amplify while he activates the SP2. But remember the mechanic in the beginning of the video that I explained, the countdown of Doom. You can only allow him 5 special 2s because after that he's going to gain an SP3 and that is going to be an instant death. But as we push him to an SP2, Dex, Dex, Dash, Dex and Dash again, you gain a few amplified charges. Now I know on the first SP2 the amplified charges will be less, but as you activate more special 2 attacks, the amplified charges will be higher. So the best way to deal with is push Doom to an SP2, and once you evade that, if there are still some amplified charges remaining, you can start dexing the SP1s instead of SP2. So right here, for example, there are 2 of those amplified charges. Now I'm gonna bait an SP1 out. So when the amplified charges are not there, push him to an SP2 so you can gain the amplified charges, and when the amplified charges are already there, then only keep him to an SP1 and then go through the evade and the dex motion through that one. So that is going to help you keep all of those amplifiers and not push him to an SP2. So that is going to be very key here. So right here, again, I had amplified charges, so I went for an SP1. Once I run out of those amplified charges, I will go for an SP2. So here we are pushing him to an SP2 again. And now I'm going to follow the same sequence to avoid, to try hits during the special attacks. So it's going a bit annoying not throwing the special. Dex, Dex, Dash, Dex and Dash. And there we go, he's down to 3 wheel charge. But remember, if you get clipped by SP1 or SP2, Baptism of Doom will be applied on you and that will be an instant death. So be careful about that and you can push him to the next phase. By the time you get to phase 4, you should be well versed on how to attempt hits during the SP1 and SP2 of Emperor Doom. For this phase, you don't have to worry about amplifier because Doom will gain 1 amplifier every 2 seconds. So you don't have to worry about those. All you need to do is to make sure that you remove those will charges either by knocking him down with the special attack or by attempting hits during an SP1 or SP2. The most important thing is this phase, it's very easy for you to die because Doom is going to be unblockable during the aura of Ouroboros. So you either push him to an SP2 to avoid that, or you just play lights out and you don't get the hit. Because the Baptism of Doom here is applied on medium attacks and light attacks, SP1 hits and also SP2 hits, so you cannot get clipped at all. And anyway, you know that heavy attacks and special 3 are instant death anyway. So you have to be very careful. You have to bring down the will charges 0 playing around that. Now if you're looking for an opening, you can hit him during the block and that should give you some space, but it's going to be a very touch and go and frantic one in the last phase. As long as he has the amplified charges, you're good to go. And yeah, once you bring those charges down to 0, you just have to use a heavy attack, save a striker for that, and you can bring Doom down. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. Throw questions my way in the comment section. Would love to hear from you. Bye.